Distinguished gentlemen of the press, this is the Imo State Council of Elders addressing a World Press Conference on recent development in Imo State. Today, being the 9th of November 2023, seated to do justice to this event is the chairman, Imo State Council of Elders, and the Obi of Obinugu, His Royal Majesty, as a Dr. Cletus Ikechukwu Ilomaya, CON. So you're welcome. By his immediate right is the President General of Ohanes and Igbo worldwide, in the person of Chief Dr. Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, CFR, and Jagabandibo. So you're welcome. Next to him, on a white apron, is the Secretary of the Council and former Speaker of Imo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Maswe Duru, PhD. So you're welcome. Seated after the speaker, former speaker, is a distinguished journalist, senator of note, in the person of Senator Chris Anyanwu. You're welcome. After Senator Chris Anyanwu is the former Inspector General of Police and also former Chairman, Police Service Commission, in the person of retired but not tired, Mike Okiro. So you're welcome. Next to him is the former National Vice Chairman, Southeast of the PDP, Nze Fidelis Ozichukuchuku. Nze Chuku, you're welcome. By the immediate left of the Chairman of the Council is the former Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Maurice Iwu. Prof, you're welcome. After Professor Iwu is the State Chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in the person of Reverend Divine, H.S. Divine, PhD. CAN Chairman, sir, you're welcome. Next to him is the former Nigerian ambassador to the Republic of Congo, His Excellency Ambassador Greg Mbadiwe, OFR. So you're welcome. Next to him is a prominent lady activist in Imo State, Lady Chaka Ugoji. You're welcome. Next to him is the commander of a retired military general. He has served in various capacities in Nigeria, in various military formations. He's retired but not tired, General Sunday Chukwe. General, you're welcome. Gentlemen of the press, today is a very important day in the history of Imo State. A lot, as you know, have been happening, and Imo people are looking upon the elders to speak. And as patriotic citizens that they are, the elders have deemed it most appropriate and timeously to clarify so many issues flying around. You know, in African culture, the elder does not lie. And the elder is a peacemaker. On that note, may I invite the chairman of the Elders Council, His Royal Majesty, as a Dr. Cletus Ikechukwu Ilomaya, CON, to please address the press. Mr. Chairman, sir.
Thank you. A press briefing by the Imo State Council of Elders under the chairmanship of my humble self, His Royal Majesty Eze Dr. Cletus Ikechukwu Ilomaya, CON, at the Council Secretariat, Owerri, today, Thursday, November the 9th, 2023. Gentlemen of the press, it is with a sense of patriotism that I address you this afternoon on behalf of the Imo State Council of Elders. This briefing is of urgent public importance because it seeks to correct certain misleading and unfounded information being circulated, especially through the social media, by some enemies of democracy in Imo State. In Igbo land, an elder does not stay at home doing nothing while the she-goat delivers in her dad's. As elders, we have sacred duty to ensure that the right things are always done and there is peace, love, unity, and stability in our state and in our country, Nigeria. Unfortunately, we have noticed of late, especially since last week, an unnecessary politically motivated gang-up against Imo State government and the constant circulation of all manners of falsehood aimed at destabilizing the November 11, 2023 election, governorship election in the state. From our investigations, we discovered that there is an determined effort by some faceless persons to blackmail the state government and security agencies in the state, intimidate those saddled with election duties, and create false picture of heightened insecurity in order to scare away Imo people from exercising their constitutional right to vote in the forthcoming election. We are indeed baffled at what the sponsors of these fake alarms and unpatriotic actions at this material time intend to achieve, even when the people have already resolved to participate fully in the November 11, 2023 governorship election. As we speak, many people have started relocating to their respective places of voting, just as there are credible evidences of mass returnees into Imo State who want to vote. In view of the above development, the Imo State Council of Elders wishes to state as follows. 1. Imo State is a very peaceful, hospitable, and fully ready for the November 11, 2023 election. 2, that Imo people are very excited about the forthcoming governorship election in the state and are not even aware of any factual evidence or proof of the childish rumors of insecurity or any form of public unrest at all, which some disgruntled folks who are desperately pursuing self-serving interests are binding about. 3, the Imo State Council of Elders, therefore, wishes to assure the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, staff conducting the election, as well as all the security personnel to be deployed for the election, of the maximum cooperation of Imo people. We are naturally very hospitable. 4, that the council is, however, disturbed at deliberate attempts by some persons to foster hardship, create rancor among Imo people. Council views this attitude as condemnable and must stop forthwith. 5, that the council further strongly advises anybody who is adverse to democracy to rethink, because the worst of democracy anywhere in the world is better than the best military government. Finally, we want to thank the governor of Imo State, His Excellency, distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma, CON, for not only assuring of a level playing ground for all political parties and their candidates, but for also practically seeing to it. We appreciate him for matching his promise of ensuring free, fair, and credible election with proven actions, and for not being self-centered even as a candidate also contesting the election. By all indices, Imo people are pleased with the preparations by both INEC and the security agencies ahead of the election. We also urge them to be neutral and fair to all parties and candidates. Once again, I thank you, gentlemen of the press, and also solicit your cooperation towards ensuring a free, fair, and credible governorship election in Imo State. This is because there is no democracy without the press. Thank you. May God bless you all. Sign, my humble self.
Thank you, the Obi of Obinugu and Chairman of the Council. Distinguished gentlemen of the press, the Chairman of the Elders Council of Imo State has just railed out a concise but punchy message from the Council to the good people of not only Imo State, but Nigerians wherever they may be. It is now time for the press to investigate what he has said, to inquire of whatever that may be agitating their minds. Please, I want to crave your indulgence. For the sake of time, we will not take more than 4 questions. So please, may I raise your hands and indicate, okay, if there is a here of the authority newspaper, please step forward here and ask a question.
Good day. My worthy colleagues, the chairman of the Elders Council, I'm Mr. Everest Ezi, the Southeast Bureau Chief of the Authority newspaper. Sir, as chairman of the Elders Council, can you in all sincerity tell us that whether the rift between the state government and the labor in the state, is it necessary? I repeat, I said, do you see the rift, the crisis, the broil between Imo State government and the national leadership of Nigerian Labour Congress as being necessary as the leader of the Elders Council in Imo State?
Maybe let me give to the CAN chairman.
Thank you. You may sit down.
To answer this.
An addendum. Okay. Step forward. Tell us your name and your medium, and then your question.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Chris Njoko. I report for the Nation newspaper, and I am also the chairman of the correspondent chapter, Imo NUJ. As a follow-up to the question asked by my colleague, Ezien, we want to know from the prominent leaders of this noble council whether they think the labor crisis will affect the 11/11 election.
Thank you. Before we take further questions, it's necessary they react to it.
Thank you very much. My name is Reverend Dr. H.S. Divine H.S., Chairman, Christian Association of Nigeria, Imo State Chapter. The first question is if the rift between the labor and the state government is necessary. In the first instance, there is no rift by the information available to us and to me in particular between the labor and the Imo State government. But rather what I have investigated and what we have found is that labor in Imo is factionalized. And of course, I will start with this adage. There is a very, very important adage that we must know, that it will be very difficult to wake up a man from sleep, especially when the man pretends to be asleep. Very difficult. Most of those things you are seeing is something that has been already planned. And I will tell you from this angle, there is no rift between the Labour and Imo State government. Rather, the Labour Union in Imo State and their national union they're having issues. You recall, including the labor union in Imo State, you recall immediately they talked about the strike and action. The Imo State Labor Union immediately went to the press to pull out of that. That is unprecedented. That is to show that they are having problem within themselves. And what is the problem? The problem, as I interrogated and investigated, stemmed from immediately our brother Comrade Ajero was, anointed and elected as the president of the labor union. The fixed election in Imo State, of course, is within their right to do that. And when they came for that election, they have two groups lined up. One for these people, one for that people. And at the end of the day, on that very day, they had issues. And the election could not go on. Immediately on that very day, he took side. As a father, you ought not to take side. Your children, I mean to say, were fighting, and you took side. And immediately appointed the other group as chairman and secretaries. And the other group said no. They started the problem. This has been their problem, labor problem, and unfortunately is causing so much harm upon our people. So I want to say that in all these things, the government of Imo State and His Excellency Distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma, he has been very calm in the face of these challenges. So there is no rift. I want to correct it between the labor. For instance, you recall that immediately upon assumption of office, the first thing His Excellency did was to tour around the secretariat and see what he can do to bring back confidence of the workers in Imo. And he went ahead to start paying 13th month salary. We've not had it in Imo before. Not only that he did that, he did something that over 10 years, over a decade, have never been done in Imo State. Staff promotion. Every person in this world, if there is anything you desire any day, anytime, is promotion. Who does that? Who will want to fight a government that is labor-friendly like this government? And then he started paying. Payment in Imo State is automated. We have engaged the government during the period of they were doing their, trying to make sure that people that are working will receive their payment. And we engaged government as the church. So many of the church leaders and government, we saw what they were doing, and we gave them a tap at the back because what they were doing is to ensure that salaries are paid. It might interest you to know that there were issues we took those issues to the government, and we discovered that most of them, they are not what we want to say here. They have been taking salaries from both ends, both from local government and from the state government. And this has taken like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. So, but that is not what we are here to say. So I'm trying to tell you that there is no problem so long as the church is concerned and the elders council is concerned between the government and the labor. And of course, another adage I will round up with. He that must come to a ceremony of exchange of garments must come with his own garment. Our brother, Comrade Ajero, he came to bring, probably restore peace in Imo State NLC as to fight for the people. But he came with war. He didn't come with garment of peace. And that should be discouraged. So I'm trying to say that there is no rift between the Labour Congress and Imo State government. Can I finalize by telling you, before the removal of subsidy, His Excellency thought it wise. Even before, way back, he saw the vision that sometimes there will be need for workers to have something to go on. And he provided buses for them. We have started using buses in Imo State way back before other states did theirs. And of course, other states were being hyped as if they came up to. But meanwhile, His Excellency the Governor introduced that free scheme for the workers. And the workers in Imo State, as the state chairman of CAN, have engaged them. And they have told me there is no problem between them and the Imo State government. And I wonder where the problem is coming. Thank you.
Okay. Senator Anyanwu wants to offer further clarification on the second question, on the follow-up question from Chris Njoko.
Just a bit, a quick intervention. You asked the question whether the the crisis. You called it a crisis will affect the 11/11 elections. I have spent the whole day in the villages. You need to see what's going on in the villages. The whole place is agog with activities. People are excited. All the political parties are freely canvassing for votes. There is a very happy atmosphere. And I have to say that I haven't seen it like this before. And that is quite surprising. Yesterday, staff of mine that is a correspondent, attached to one of the candidates, went with the candidate and the campaign until 11 p.m. in Olu City. And yet people will sit down and conjure all kinds of imageries about Imo State, and you wonder where they're talking about. So, now, there's no crisis in Imo State. Whatever is happening with NLC is not going to affect the election because the people are ready. And I believe the government is ready. Unless the Electoral Commission is not ready. But as far as the people are concerned, they are ready. And I don't think it will affect. Let me tell you where it will affect. They are denying businesses electricity. For weeks now, people have been on NEPA. And they're killing businesses. That's what they're doing. The people who are going to be voting, most of them have gone to the rural areas. Probably they don't have electricity. So it's going to have very negligible impact. As for air travel, we have a number of alternatives. My cousin came from Port Harcourt yesterday. You can go through Akwa Ibom. You can go through Anambra. You can go through Delta. So those who are determined to come and vote are coming back. And so it has little or no impact, and will have little or no impact on the election. I think the wise thing to do is Joe Ajero and the Labour organization should sit down and talk. And that is what they do in their industry. They discuss. They go to the table and they discuss. This thing will end in discussion. I don't know what, but the kind of measures they have taken are unprecedented in the history of the world. I have never seen a time in this world, where a human being has been barred from an airport, using an airport. And the airport you're talking about, airport built on the sweat of Imo people and handed over to the federal government. You can't do things like that. There have to be consequences, for some of these extreme measures. But I think the solution is in discussion. Let me leave it at that.
Thank you. The third question. Okay, Chinonso Alozie of the Vanguard. Please step forward. Tell us your name, your medium, and of course, your question.
My name is Chinonso Alozie. I'm of the Imo State, correspondent of the Vanguard newspaper. There's no doubt that there is tension in Imo as a result of the November 11 election. And both Imo people outside Imo and those here want to hear from their elders. What are your assessments of the current security situation in Imo? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. In the Elders Council, we have professionals of every type. The former Inspector General of Police is here. So let me hand over to him.
The issue of security in Imo is not something that we should worry about. I know nationwide there will be a lot of security blues. Imo State being a part of Nigeria, we have a share of security in Nigeria. But for this election is an off-season election. An election only in Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa. So the security agencies have enough personnel, enough manpower, enough equipment to deploy in these three states. I understand that Imo State alone has 25,000 policemen come to take care of the nation. The military equally is highly deployed. You have civil defense, you have federal safety, you have all other areas of all the security agencies deploying their men in Imo State. So they're going to dominate Imo State. There's no problem in Imo State. So people should realize that because we have this personnel, there'll be no fear, no acrimony, no who about security in Imo State during the election. I assure you, as Special Police, I've discussed the military commander, I discussed the CP, discussed the DIGs coming in. There's no fear about the security in Imo State. We have double assurance that everybody will be secure. Come out and vote and go home. Wherever you are, the area is completely dominated by security agencies. So come out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you, former IG of Police, Michael Kiro, retired. Before we take the last question, I think we have somebody in our midst in Zojuku who's very apt and focused when it comes to issues of public discourse. In Zojuku, I think it may be proper for you to also lend their voice to the discourse.
Well, I can assure you that since I came in, I've had consultations, I've talked with people, and yes, there are tensions. These are things that go with election. Who is going to win, who is not going to win, but they haven't gone to do with security issues. It's rather about the state of preparedness, of readiness of each and every political party. We have gone this road before, so I'm rather excited and impressed that if you go to the streets now and you go to the villages as they are coming, you see people moving in, you go to the airports, people are coming in from Port Harcourt, people are coming in from all over the places. That shows you the excitement, that shows you their readiness, that shows their commitment. So in terms of willingness, in terms of excitement, in terms of interest and involvement, I think every Igbo person is committed to making sure that right things are done right and that the best candidate will emerge.
Finally, distinguished gentlemen of the press, because you need time to go and file your stories so that you also don't keep the elders waiting. The last question, okay, Stanley Ozaro of the Sun, please step forward. For protocol's sake, tell the elders your name, the medium you represent, and then you throw your salvo.
Thank you very much. My name is Stanley Ozaro. I'm the Imo State correspondent of Daily Sun newspapers. My question goes to the revered world Igbo leader before us here. Many people want to know, sir, Igbo Light wants to get assurance. How successful? Are you assuring us this election is going to be successful?
I think, sir, I needed it to be more precise. He made allusions, but I wanted him to hit the nail on the head. Jagamba, the question fits you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Stanley, thank you for that question. Our chairman and all distinguished leaders, members of the press, frankly speaking, I'm delighted to be here today. Stanley, I want to tell you that I'm happy. If you look at myself, you can see I'm happy. A few days ago, I was not quite happy because a lot of stories were going around. But I've been to the village. Like Chris Anyanwu said, I've been to the village, I've seen people. People in the village don't understand what is going on. I'm not even sure they read some of this news and so on. And then they're all busy working, preparing for the election. And, well, I have been in this for a very long time, even though I have retired from politics now. I'm the leader of Igbos. Because of it, I'm not partisan now. But you know, I was very active in politics. And what happens at this time in the past? You hear about people breaking cars, burning houses, opposing parties fighting. Nothing like that has happened in this case. So I think, frankly speaking, Stanley and the rest of the press, I'm so happy that, in fact, Imo is ready for the election. I must probably, as a leader of Igbos, point at one thing, because right now we have a government, state government in Abia, we have a state government in Enugu, we have a state government in Anambra, in Ebonyi, we have in Delta, we have in Rivers. These are major Igbo states. Now, Imo is the only place without, so, and that is why I am baffled. If anybody who thinks he loves Imo State will come to obstruct this election, because it is clear that some individuals are deliberately obstructing the election, what do they want? Do they have an alternative government for Imo State? Because if this thing doesn't take place, there will be chaos, there will be anarchy. It is in the interest of Imo people to have a free and fair election, to make a choice. Over, I think up to 18 candidates are contesting, and they're all in the field. They have not complained, apart from one or two isolated points. On July, 10th of July, this year, 2023, I, as the leader of Igbos, convened a very important meeting in Abuja. I met it in Abuja to enable the House of National Assembly, House of Senate, and Rep, and all the governors, all the leaders to be present. Most of the leaders here, including Chris and even IG, most of them were there at the meeting. At that meeting, I, as the leader of Igbos, was given the mandate to get in touch with the President Tinubu, to have an appointment to discuss with Igbo leaders. And at that meeting, everybody unanimously said, we Igbo leaders want our son Nnamdi Kanu to be released. Hope Uzodinma provided, he financed, Hope Uzodinma financed that particular meeting. He provided the entertainment, all the, in fact, it was his Lagos, Abuja house where the thing was held. Many people came and everybody left that meeting with joy. I want to tell you that I have made the effort. In fact, even I just came back up to last week. I'm making an effort to get in touch with the president. And I don't have any doubt that by the grace of God, I will get in touch with the president and our brother Nnamdi Kanu will be released. Hope Uzodinma is the chairman of governors. He and his other governors have given me full support to ensure that Nnamdi Kanu should be released. All the members of National Assembly, House of Rep, and Senate, they have given me full support. And the same thing even with the members of the Senate Assembly. So the truth is that it's unanimous view of Ernest Ndibo that our son be released. And I have demanded to make the arrangement. As soon as I get appointment from the president, I will tell Igbo leaders I will go to see the president. Anybody who tells you that I'm now talking to, I believe that my good people of Imo State and Igbos are listening. Because Igbos will be very sad with anybody who works against Nnamdi Kanu's release. Because Igbos have taken a decision. They will be sad if anybody works against it. So I'm telling them that the story is lie. I'm telling them as their leader. Now, the other question I have had people now talking about sit at home. You know, I came this morning. Everybody was walking. I didn't see any sign. I didn't hear it. So I think it's all speculation. So I don't think there's any problem. There are so many stories going up and down, but I have seen this election is going to be a success. Yesterday, I addressed a World Press Conference, and I made it very clear that we are non-partisan. I directed our people in Imo State go and vote for any candidate of their choice. We are not a political party. We are not. So, and most people are very happy. I've got response from many people. I can assure you that on Saturday 11th, Imo people are going to vote, and when the vote is cast and the result announced, Imo will now know who will be their leader in the next 4 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You know, we are about the election, and we have Professor Morris Iwu here, former chairman of INEC. Let me give it to him. Let him make his own contribution and tell us about this election.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I really agree with what has been said so far. And as the members of the media will glean from what we are saying, Imo State is ready. Imo people are very excited about the election. And as the IG, former IG said, I think the security agencies are poised. I think my former place of work, INEC, I think they are ready. And I was touched by the extraordinary zeal they showed in coming to Imo State, even with the hindrances. And just like our leader said now, everything is not as they look. Any attack on Imo State is not just attack on one state, it's attack on Nigeria and attack on Igbo people. Few months ago, people fought so hard to prevent us from even voting for the national election. Now they're also trying to do the same thing. I still wonder why some people are bent on denying us of our natural franchise to be able to vote. It is becoming so persistent that it's becoming a cause of worry. But so far, so good. Just like was said earlier, I went to Mbano yesterday. People are not even aware of any crisis. They're not even aware of any closure of the airport. They are preparing for the elections with full zeal. And by God's grace, November 11th, we will be able to have casted our vote. If we fail to cast our vote, that means that we are subjecting ourselves to slavery. That means that we are answering to somebody we don't even know, giving order from above. By November 11th, as free citizens of Nigeria, as proud Igbo men, as very proud Imolites, we are going to vote and vote anybody of our choice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our distinguished and respected elders, gentlemen of the press, I think in normal Igbo culture, the voice of the people is the voice of God. And the elders represent the good people of Imo State. And today you've heard it directly from the horse's mouth that Imo is safe. Imo people are ready for the elections. Imo people are excited about the 11/11 elections. And by God's special grace, there will be a free, fair, and credible elections to the glory of God. On that note, we've come to the formal end of this press briefing. I thank gentlemen of the press for your patience, and I thank the elders for doing justice to all the questions that my colleagues, we are always prodding, seeking to know the unknown. Thank you very much for doing justice to all the questions, and may God bless each and every one of us. Thank you.